Hello and welcome to another week of the Championship Wrap. This weekend, or potentially we could call it the Coral Challenge Cup Wrap, considering we did have such exciting games over the weekend. Of course, round 5 isn't too far away either. But if I can just backtrack for a little bit, you guys at Warrington have got London this weekend, and that's a bit of a peculiar game for yourself, given all the time you spent down there at London. Yeah,
look, it's going to be a great challenge for us. We come off the back of a very, very good performance away at Hull FC on Friday night, probably arguably our best performance of the season, and hopefully, like you said, we'll be able to produce another great performance for our home fans back at the Halliwell Jones on Friday night against a very good London side, and we're expecting another stern test from them on Friday night.
It certainly will be very exciting. Without any further ado, Hendo, let's get stuck into round 4 of the Coral Challenge Cup. Now we start off with Thatto taking on North Wales Crusaders 16-14. Now this was a really exciting game, and it certainly was one that probably not many people saw coming.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure the Thatto Heath Crusader boys always had that confidence and belief. I mean, they've got a great setup there. I've had the privilege of being able to spend some time and watch Thatto play in the past, and I'm really, really pleased with them because you want to have good stories in the Challenge Cup, and Thatto...
That's what it's all about.
And it was obviously the two Crusaders coming head-to-head, Thatto Heath Crusaders and the North Wales Crusaders. And I know North Wales will be bitterly disappointed. You know, they would have gone into this round expecting to win, and for them, you know, getting through the next round would have been really good from a monetary point of view for them in terms of their sustainability as a club. But you know, like for Thatto Heath, I mean, that's a huge result for those guys. You know, really, really pleased.
Fantastic indeed. Let's take a look at all the highlights.
From here, what an opportunity, and he's going to try and go on his own and burrow over on his own. Has he got there, Lewis Foster? He has. Last tackle, what can they find here? Looks to go on his own again. It's going to be a walk-in try, or is he held up?
What a tackle that is.
Connor Dwyer thought he'd scored, and oh, it is a try. Defence, they're organised and resolute. And North Wales try and barge over from dummy half, and I think they might have scored here. It was a power play from the winger.
They've done, as we spoke earlier about the setup at Thatto. It's a fantastic facility.
Oh, they charge down. Now, where's this going to go? Has it been picked up cleanly? If that's play on, this is a try for Thatto Heath and Matty Norton underneath the post. The referee looks happy with this. They celebrate the score, and what a huge moment that could be in the game. The try is awarded.
And how Matty Norton got underneath that ball, I'll never know.
Another opportunity though. Quick restart, lovely little shuffle out of the back door. Steve gives the ball some room, and now the gap's open up on that far side, and it is a score for North Wales Crusaders. To Baker, they're right in front of the post. They can almost taste the whitewash on the paint, and Earlhurst gets the ball away, and they're going to get in this corner. It's the winger for his second of the game, Robert Massam. It's a try awarded in the last minute. As tough as they come, it's around about 5-6 metres in from this near touchline. And there's hushed silence. Here he goes, he struck it really well. It's fading, and it's faded, and he has missed it, and it's a 2-point lead still. Hey, what's the decision? Yes.
That's full time.
Oh, there's the hooter. Are they going to get the scrum down and play? No, they're not. They couldn't have that last play. That could have been the moment. And so fine are the margins. The hooter's gone and the game is over, and Thatto Heath Crusaders have done something they've never done before, and they are through to round 5 of the Coral Challenge Cup.
Up next, of course, is the Keighley Cougars up against the Bradford Bulls. Only 2 points in this. Bradford managed to get, well, they managed to go through and only by 2 points. This is another exciting one.
Yeah, look, I've got to give credit where credit's due. Keighley were outstanding, and I called it last week. I did tip her.
Yeah.
I said Bradford will probably go there and nick it, but you know, I said that Keighley will give a really good account of themselves because I knew they'd be up for it. It's a local derby. You know, two teams that have, you know, they're proud clubs with great rivalry and tradition. And I mean, Keighley, I think they'll feel really bitterly unlucky at the end of it. I know their coach Craig Lingard, you know, came out and said how extremely proud he was of his boys on the day. And I think on the flip side, you know, from John Keir's comments, I don't think he was too happy with his attitude of his players. I think he felt that they probably went in there a little bit complacent, didn't adopt the right attitude, and that's the reality. You know, in the Challenge Cup, you know, anything can happen, and you have to go in with a professional mindset. Bradford will be happy and relieved is probably the word that they got through. But yeah, fantastic day there for Keighley, and just unfortunate they couldn't get across the line.
Well, let's take a look at how Bradford Bulls managed to come away with the victory.
On their own goal line here, Millian Out the back it goes to Miller. Shipped on again as Maranka has a dig. Just held up. Luke Million's turn to feed it again. They'll go through. It's Buster Feather. James Buster Feather has given Keighley the lead, and you can feel the energy from the stands at Cougar Park. I was just about to say, enough of that now. Andy Gilder on Twitter says, are Bradford going to regret not converting pressure into points? Yes, they are, I think. Good crowd today, says Paul Wright. Great to see Cougar Mania giving them a good game. Not just a good game, they're in front, aren't they? As Hardcastle extends it to 6. 6 points to 0. Minchella whizzes it to that left. This time it is the kick from Milnes. It's going to go in towards that goal line. It was almost dragged in. It was dragged in, was it? By Ethan Ryan. Has he scored? Yes, he has. Bradford have a big score. Closing in on the break. Back within 2. And it's Ethan Ryan on Keighley's turf. Elliot Minchella looking to sweep that forward. I don't know whether that tells you a little about the conditions at Cougar Park today. Magrin tries to turn, tries to clatter, and he's well held up in the end. They're looking to fall him, but he can't be chopped down there. It's another scoop from Flanagan. Oh, he's going to be held up over the line, and you can hear the chants from the Bradford fans. No, he's got it down. Oh, he scored. Well, it looked as though he'd been held up, but George Flanagan, under the pile of bodies, has squeezed that down, and Keighley's resistance has finally ebbed. And no mistake for Minchella. 10 points to 6. Busted now inside the 20. Flanagan went for the little trip over there, and another player in the ruck. There will be a penalty. Minchella just drives it through from close in, and that is now a converted score lead at 12 points to 6. And just a little insurance policy perhaps there for Bradford, knowing just how dangerous Keighley have been in this game. He'll be feeling it after this one, no doubt. As Miller hoists up the kick, Ryan underneath it, he's beaten to it! Oh, that's beautiful! Absolutely beautiful! Alfie Seeley, I think that was, who got the ball, and Keighley have scored a massive try! Back within 2, a brilliant leap, Tommy Makinson-esque, sensational from Keighley. They are back within 2, and boy, we have a cup tie. A pretty reliable boot on him, has clubbed it through, and we have parity here, and you can see what it means to the people of Keighley. Keighley committing men to the tackle. Will Cook down in the ruck there. Oh. Penalty. So Minchella will take the chance to take the 2. 5th and last. Flanagan to have a go himself. But again, Keighley do enough, and there rings out the hooter, and Keighley, they have been brave, they have been spirited, they've committed, and they have contributed so much to this Challenge Cup tie. But it's Bradford who progress. They have beaten Keighley by 14 points to 12.
Well, they were our highlights of the round 4 in the Challenge Cup. Let's take a look at a few of the other matches. We'll start off with Barra Raiders up against York City Knights. 32-16 in favour of York. This is pretty impressive for another York team. Yeah,
fantastic. Fantastic for York to progress to the next round. I'm not sure about how far James Ford wants to go. I know that his mentality is about, once they got promoted into the championship, it was about survival and trying to build that continuity and being able to build the club moving forward. So, but the reality is he went there with, you could argue, an understrength side. There was a few young players got an opportunity from the squad, which was fantastic to see. But I believe Matty Marsh was the star of the show for York. Matty Marsh, we know, has got that pedigree from being with Hull Kingston Rovers, and delivered a really, really good performance. So disappointment for the Barra Raiders, but fantastic result for York City Knights to progress.
Up next is the Featherston Rovers defeated Swinton Lions 38-12. I was pretty surprised by this scoreline, just given, Featherston Rovers, they've had a bit of an up and down season, and they managed to really get the points together, and maybe the attack is starting to click potentially. Yeah,
well, like we said, they've had an element of inconsistency. They've had pretty strong home form, been a bit scratchy on the road at Featherston this season. However, there was a question mark on the influence of the dual reg players from Leeds. They were going to be missing this week with them being cup tied, and it certainly hasn't affected them, has it? They've come out there. I think they had Thompson Tete back.
You'll know a little bit more about him. Well, Well, he was coming back from injury, and then he was instrumental in the first 25 minutes, and you could really tell that he'd been missing over these last couple of weeks. And then he unfortunately went down with some sort of injury again, I believe to be in the shoulder, which they're rating. They think it's going to be quite serious, which is a huge blow for Featherston.
Yeah, it is.
And it'll be interesting to see how that will impact the rest of their...
Absolutely, yeah, it's disappointment for Thompson because, like you said, I think he came on. He's made a massive impact in the time that he was on the field. Yeah, and Swinton, I think they would have gone there and gave a good crack, but they were missing their Wigan players. So this is a funny round for a lot of championship clubs.
There's so much movement around in terms of
absolutely a lot of players on dual region on loans from Super League clubs. Now these teams have to kind of adapt and overcome that and try and use some of their other players at their disposal. But it's a great opportunity for some of the other players that part of that squad to get an opportunity. But well done, Featherston. Well,
Sheffield Eagles, they couldn't get it done in front of a home crowd, defeated 34-12 by Leigh Centurions. Yeah. This is impressive from Leigh, given they too. Also, the point you make about missing a few players and coming off the back of that disappointing loss last week for Leigh, this is exactly what they wanted to see.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic response there from the Leigh Centurions. I think, like you said, they had a disappointing result away at Bradford last week. I know Coach Duffy didn't mince his words after the game in terms of how his team performed in that second half. But, that's a fantastic result for those guys. To go to Sheffield too, who, as we know, are in a rich vein of form in the championship. Disappointment for Mark Astons and his men, but they'll turn their attentions to Toronto next week.
Well, that'll be an exciting matchup for sure. Up next, Whitehaven took on Rochdale. Rochdale managed to come away with the points, but only by one, 22-21. Second win for Rochdale for 2019. That's still something to cheer about.
Oh, absolutely. And, from a Rochdale perspective, Carl Foster was the former player coach of Whitehaven. Dan Abram was also a former Whitehaven player as well, and it was probably agonising for the Whitehaven fans that Dan Abram slotted the winning conversion just before the end of time there to seal the victory. But I think impressive performance from Whitehaven. I mean, they're always a dogged and tricky team to play on their patch, and Rochdale did find a way to get that result. So well done to them. They progressed to round 5, but Dan Abram comes back to haunt his old club. That's the way it is.
It is the way it is. Never short of storylines in rugby league. Let's take a look at some of the other fixtures over the weekend in round 4 of the Challenge Cup. Hunslet 24, Halifax 28, Oldham Widnes 14-54. Widnes piling on the points yet again. Batley Bulldogs Lock Lane 62-6, and Dewsbury Rams West Hull 32-6. It certainly was very exciting at round 4 of the Challenge Cup, and of course now we turn all of our eyes to round 5 of the Challenge Cup. Some exciting matchup. What stands out to you here? I'm looking at Leeds versus Workington. This will certainly be an exciting one for Coach Leon Price. I've already said apparently he is ecstatic with pulling Leeds.
Oh, and rightly so. It'll be ecstatic for a number of reasons because, I think firstly for his players, I know he's very much a coach. It's about his players, so he'll be pleased that his players will now get the opportunity to grace the hallowed turf of Headingley and get to experience, a Super League environment, Super League stadium, Super League crowd. The Leeds fans will turn out and support that game in numbers. But the other exciting matchup is the two brothers coming head-to-head. Brad Singleton, if selected, and Perry Singleton, if selected, could be going head-to-head that night at Headingley. So that'll be fantastic to see the two brothers go at each other. I know the way Brad plays, he's quite aggressive, no-nonsense type player. It'll be interesting to see if his brother's the same and if they come to blows, mate, in that game. So, look, it's good for a number of reasons.
Yeah, definitely is. And up next, Thaddeus Heath at home, and they'll be hosting Dewsbury. This is an exciting one.
Great. And do you know what? I'm so pleased that they've managed to jag a home draw because I think they'll quietly think they're a chance in this game. Dewsbury will be confident, but it's a great story for Thaddeus Heath to progress to the only amateur team still in the competition. And who knows? Could they be in round 6?
It'll be an exciting 80 minutes.
It'd be fantastic to see, wouldn't it?
Okay, Hendo, so now we've got through all the Challenge Cup. Let's take a look at the championship round for round 9. Now, it starts with Toronto Wolfpack travelling to London to play its Scholars up against Sheffield Eagles. Yeah. Sheffield Eagles will be looking to come back from that loss, but at Toronto having that week off, I'm going to take Toronto for my pick in this one.
Yeah, I think you'd be wrong not to go with Toronto this week. I think, like you said, they've had a week now to freshen up a little bit. However, Sheffield will be looking to come down and respond after a disappointing Challenge Cup exit to the hands of the Leigh Centurions. So I think they will. They'll come down and give a good account of themselves. But I'm tipping Toronto for this one.
Well, if any fans are travelling down there, myself and Alex Simmons will be there at the pitch, and there is an opportunity.
Oh, wow!
I know. I'm not giving you a present. You could give your wife a just love it. Maybe you could win this.
Maybe. Wowzers.
It's a £3,000 necklace.
Wow.
That a fan gets the opportunity to win. All they have to do is just be there at the game, and we'll explain how. Of course, it is on behalf of the Maple Leaf Diamonds, based in Toronto, so it is one of their big sponsors. So get down there to London for your chance to win this for your missus. Perhaps it's her birthday.
Oh, fantastic.
Or perhaps you just like to keep it for yourself.
Oh, it's a shame it couldn't have been there for Mother's Day, eh?
I know. Perhaps
just a week too late, a week too late. But no, that's fantastic. Great work there from the sponsors there at Toronto. That's a fantastic prize.
I'll make sure I put that away safely before Saturday. Absolutely. Up next on Saturday as well, we've got Toulouse Olympique up against the Featherston Rovers. This will be an exciting one.
It's going to be a great game.
It's going to be a great one. Toulouse are really in some form at the moment, but as I said, Featherston before, they've had up and down, but they potentially could take the spoils here.
Well, look, wow. I mean, Toulouse, we said it a few weeks ago, they have turned the corner. They are on fire at the moment. They are probably the form team of the competition. There's no doubt about it. They're back at home. They've been outstanding at home in recent weeks. I think they'll be too strong for Featherston. Again, I think Featherston will be buoyed off the result against Swinton, but I'm just not sure they're going to have enough going to France. They haven't convinced me so far this season on the road, Featherston, yet. So I think it'll be Toulouse. Yeah, I think so.
Up next, we've got the Batley Bulldogs up against Widnes Vikings, and I'm going to take a Widnes victory here, just given the form that they are in at the moment. They haven't lost for a couple of weeks, and they've had that big win in the Challenge Cup as well, so I think Widnes will get the spoils here. Yeah, I agree. I think Widnes they've shown enough in their performances of late to suggest that they can go to Batley and get the job. Okay. I think it's going to be a close game. I really think Batley are going to push Widnes in this game, but I just don't think they're going to have enough to get across the line. I think Widnes will get there, just jag it, but I think it's going to be a Widnes win. Well, up next, Bradford Bulls, Dewsbury Rams, and of course this game will be streamed on the Our League app, as too will the Wigan Warriors up against St Helens in the women's game. You can watch that on the Our League app as well. That's certainly exciting. A bit of a double header coming your way for this one, and I'm going to tip Bradford Bulls. Well, you'd like to think that Bradford will learn their lessons after almost narrowly losing out in the Challenge Cup to the Keighley Cougars. John Keir certainly made his comments known after the game that he wasn't happy with the attitude. I expect his players to respond in the right way this week. Up next, Leigh Centurions up against the Barrow Raiders. Leigh Centurions will have some of those players from dual reg and loan back into the team after the Challenge Cup, so I'm going to tip a Leigh win here. Obviously, it's at home as well. Yeah, I've got no arguments there. I just think it's going to be one-way traffic, to be honest. I just don't see... I think Barrow are in a slump. Yeah, they're in a form slump at the moment. They showed some really encouraging signs in the early part of the championship season, but they just seem to be dwindling away at the moment. I think it's going to be one-way traffic on the weekend. It'll be a convincing Leigh win. Rochdale Hornets are hosting Halifax at home. I'm going to take a Halifax win here, just given, obviously, they had the win in the Challenge Cup, but before that, they had that disappointing loss to Toronto, so perhaps Halifax might get up for this one. Well, they need to. They need a performance this week to Halifax. I think, like you said, I think they've just been a little bit, in terms of their performance levels, haven't sort of hit the standards or expectations that I know their coach will have on his team. Interesting game, but I do think Halifax will take the spoils. Well, last but not least, 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, York City Knights are hosting the Swinton Lions. I'm going to take a York victory here, just given they'll welcome back a few of those players that they rested for the Challenge Cup. They're in front of a home crowd, so they've got my tip. Yeah, I'll have to agree with you there, Louise. I think they'll be too strong for the Swinton Lions on Sunday. Swinton, they'll get some players on dual reg from Wigan, which will strengthen them, but I'm just not sure they're going to have enough quality to defeat a very good York side at home. Like I said, we're playing with real confidence and belief at the moment. Well, Hendo, you've given us so much insight into all of the Challenge Cup, the previewing of round 5, and of course the previewing of round 9. There's so much footy to get through. Thanks so much for your time yet again. I hope all the fans watching this at home are as excited as you and I are for round 9 and of course round 5 of the Challenge Cup that is coming up in just a couple of weeks.